Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to create custom statuses here in Bluebeam Revu. And the idea with that is as you create a markup, as you change the status, the color will automatically change of the markup according to the status level. First thing that we have to do is go to create a new profile. So we're going to go over here to review profiles. And for this to work, you have to use a custom profile. What I'm going to do is set up my review advanced as my profile to start off with. Then I'll go back to the review tab, go to profiles, and then select manage profiles. This will give me an opportunity to save my current profile as a new one. I'll go ahead and click on add. And this is going to be based on the review advanced. I'm going to go ahead and call this RK advanced and hit OK. Now what you just saw on screen was Bluebeam Revu capturing everything that was current in my profile for advanced. Next, what we're going to do is verify that we are currently on RK Advanced, and we're almost good to go. At this point, now what we're going to do is create some model states for review. We're going to come over here, and if you don't have the status column on, you can find that here in the markups columns. Go to columns and make sure to have status turned on. Once it's enabled, you'll have this column show up in your markups list. Next, we'll go over here to manage the statuses. In the manage status, you'll notice on the left-hand side you have model states and then states of that model. These are all built in, and so what I'm going to do is simply uncheck them so that they no longer appear as a right-click menu option, and then I'm going to select Add. Over here, I'm going to call this ASTI status. And this will be a new right-click menu that'll have statuses for ASTI. I forgot the I, but that's okay. And then we're going to come over here and add model states. In this case, I want to create one for pending reviews, one for rejected, and one for approved. And each one of those states will have a different color associated with them. So let's start by selecting add. Then we're going to add the first one, and this is when the red line is first created. And I'm going to just write that this is pending. And while it's pending, I'm going to make sure that it's always red. Then next, in the next level, it's going to be rejected. And rejected, I'm going to change its color, in this case, to be purple. Let's find this purple. Here's a purple right here. I think these are all purple. That'll be purple. I should say that that's purple. And when it's set to rejected, it'll be purple. Then finally, we're going to do one more. When it's finally approved, I'm going to have the color turn gray. So now we have three different states of the statuses. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to default my red lines to one of these states all the time. So as I create a markup, it'll automatically have the status or the state of that status as a default. And so every markup will always be pending review. So what I'm going to do is select pending and change my default to be pending. So every markup will automatically come in the status of pending. And then last thing I want to do is I want to make sure to save this to my new default AST status. And remember, this is the new profile that we selected. You have to create a new profile for this states to be saved to a profile. I'm going to go ahead and save to profile. I'll hit OK. And now watch down below over here as we start to create a red line. I'll go over here and use my favorite Cloud Plus and create a red line right over here. And I'm going to say provide access hatches to HVAC. Right? And I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more. Provide panic bars. Add another one over here. Need furniture plan. or plain, and etc. And so let's say we went ahead and sent this to someone, right? We had gone through and sent this in a email or put it in projects or in a session. By the way, when adding this to a session, all of your custom statuses need to be set up ahead of time before bringing them into a project or a session, specifically a session. Again, these have to be set up ahead of time before you put them into a session so people can click on them and then change them. So let's say someone received this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend to be someone else, and I'm going to go to preferences over here and general, and I'm going to change my user so I have a different persona, and I'm going to be Alex over here from Furniture ID. That's the name of the company or something. And I'll go ahead and hit OK. Now, let's say I sent this over to Alex, and over here, this first one, that status is going to be pending, just as it's existing. And then the next one over here, let's say Alex goes through and changes the status. First, they'll reply and say, we'll take care of this never. And of course, I'm going to get that back and say, wait a minute, Alex over here said that he will take care of this never. So I'm going to set this over here by right clicking and set the status to rejected. Like, I don't approve that. So that is going to be rejected. And you'll see over here in the statuses that it's been rejected. And I can see Alex's comment back. This one right over here, I'm going to change this one and say, let's say Alex says, yes, will provide on next submittal, and I'm happy with that reply, right? And so Alex over here replied back, yes, I will reply and add those. I'm going to go and say, okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and approve it. So I'll go over here and set the status to approved. And when I do that, you can see it gets grayed out. I really like using the grayed out feature because that's something that's normal within Bluebeam when we start to go through and initialize the filter list. When we start the filter list, we can filter out all the other objects in the filter list, and the ones that are not part of the filter list get grayed out. So that's just an easy way to kind of have that fade into the background. Also, we can start to organize our markups lists by according to status, so we can see which ones have been approved, which are pending, and which ones have still need a little bit of work. So in addition to that, we can also turn on in the markups list the columns and include color. The nice thing about adding color in the columns over here, we can start to organize it by color, and we can start to see which things have left to be pending and kind of see the status of between red, purple, and gray and start to organize it. And that's it. That's all you have to do to save your states. Again, as a recap, make sure to create a custom profile. Then once you create that profile, go to Manage States and Statuses over here and create a new model state and then states of that model right here. And these will be the ones that show up. Again, these are out of the box. Don't mess with those. Create your new one. And that's it. That's how you create your model states. I hope you enjoyed today's little tip and trick on adding custom statuses. My name is Rick Kramer, and I'll see you next time.